And now here we are yet again finding even more evidence to Donald Trump's claims when he articulated that the process is rigged. My big issue is that I'm really, really sick and tired of every time I turn around finding something else that the Democrats have lied about or downplayed or misrepresented along the way.
That's sports commentator and vocal Trump critic Stephen A. Smith reacting to a recent DOJ report that's adding a bit more clarity to the events of J6 and destroying establishment media narratives blindly believed by people on the left. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it's looking like truth may be the best cure for Trump derangement syndrome. Because just like the fine people on both sides hoax, weaponization of the DOJ, and Biden's obvious cognitive decline, Americans are slowly coming to the realization that elites may not always be telling them the whole story.
The news comes amidst a bombshell report from the Justice Department that revealed the FBI had at least 26 confidential informants on the ground when the Capitol was stormed on January 6, 2021. The Justice Department says only 3 of its 26 informants present had been instructed to observe potential domestic terrorist suspects on the day of the riot. The rest of the 23 appeared to have gone to the Capitol on their own accord. Upon hearing news of the report, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance posted the following on X, quote, "For those keeping score at home, this was labeled a dangerous conspiracy theory months ago," end quote. Didn't hear anything about that for the election. Didn't hear anything about that when the quote-unquote insurrection was broached by Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. The belief that Donald Trump was a danger to democracy and using this as a profound, illuminating bullet point to make that case. I mean, I see Republicans like Megyn Kelly or Officer Tatum or Candace Owens or, the Sean Hannitys of the world. You know what I'm getting tired of? You know what I'm getting to the Democratic Party? You know what I'm getting really pissed off about? I'm getting really ticked off at every time they open their mouth about something pertaining to y'all, they seem right.
Now, obviously, the events of J6 will always remain a politically contentious issue, even with this new information being released, and that's fine. However, one thing is clear, and it's that withholding this type of information for this long has once again backfired spectacularly. And I think it's a safe bet to say that we wouldn't know any of this if Republicans hadn't just won in a landslide. And it's that fact that's leading to some rather lively discussions lately, like this one between Tim Pool and leftist influencer Luke Beasley, who's decided to stick to his regime-issue narrative.
And this is the problem I have with the left. They don't know the facts. They don't care about the facts. They view morality as a blanket government stroke of the pen, and every person, regardless of their crime, should be in prison for decades. I reject it outright. The people who fought cops should go to prison. They did. It's been 3 years. But when you've got people who are on misdemeanor charges for having walked into a building at 4 p.m. after the riot, and I know some of these people, they walked into a building for 2 minutes and walked out, and they got 18 months for that. I don't see you defending the innocent people who walked onto a public grass at a public building after a riot had been completed. You don't know. You don't care. You've taken a tribal position and people are suffering because of it. Now you say that Donald Trump saying the injustice that we've seen warrants commutation or pardons. You say that means he's advocating for violence. This is the ultimate problem. We have seen people on the far left, notably when they were firebombing all across Minnesota, 33 people murdered. And how many criminal charges do we get for this? When they firebombed a police station and forced the police to evacuate. On May 29th, 2020, when thousands of far leftists firebombed the White House grounds and set fire to St. John's Church and injured 100 police officers, how many people went to prison for 3 years? How many of them who never showed up on that day are in prison for 20 years? You don't care what the facts are. You don't care if this is unjust. You only care that the machine state has decreed you are not to be locked up.
The fact of the matter here is things are starting to appear that they might not be as clear-cut as elites want people to believe, which regardless of how you cut it, is a win for Trump and a loss for his opposition because it casts doubt on nearly everything they've said or done in recent memory. I mean, let's not forget these people were saying that J6 was worse than 9/11. That's the level and tone they set with this. So anything that comes out or the DOJ releases that indicates nuance or that things might not be at that level is now an indictment on the people who pushed that narrative in the first place. But let me know what you think. How much more can we expect to come to light now that Trump's won? Is the release of this type of information a good thing, or should there be limits put in place? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really helps us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.